Welcome back, everybody. We're actually doing a review today of this rifle right here. This is the DPMS Oracle. This is their sort of optics ready version of it. And typically it's not something I would ever take a look at here on the channel, but right now there is a pretty crazy deal going on with it. So this complete rifle, after the rebate and the code below, which is I believe L9Q. We'll put the link down below in the video description for you guys to check this out. But the rifle delivered to your FFL is $355 for the complete rifle. So it comes with a PMAG too, which is kind of a bonus, but it doesn't come with any sights. So we mounted this scope on there. And what I want to do before we get into the details of the rifle is just check out how it's going to perform out there on the range in terms of accuracy, and then we'll come back and look at the different specs of it. Now we're going to try to get a quick feel for the accuracy of this rifle here. We have a couple different loads we're going to try today. First up in the gun right now, we have the Freedom Munitions 69 grain hollow point boat tail round here. For those who don't know, Freedom offers a viewer discount code here you guys can see in your screen for anybody purchasing ammo over there. So that is there for you. The second group we have here is going to be Hornady Super Performance Match. This is a 223 chamber, 75 grain bullet, boat tail hull point again. This is actually a courtesy of Mass Ammo. A lot of you guys asked me to start including some Hornady stuff in my accuracy testing, and I could never get a hold of anybody over there. And Mass Ammo was nice enough to send a few boxes out for us to use during the accuracy testing of some upcoming rifle reviews. So thank you to them. We'll put a link down below for them as well. And target is downrange at 100 yards. On the rifle, we have the primary arms 1-6 optic. This is their Gen 3 optic with the KISS reticle on there, so it's got the chevron tip. That does help me personally with accuracy. I like having a chevron rather than a dot or crosshairs. And it's in a Geissele mount. Other than that, we'll stop talking and get busy. All right, there's that first group. I should also mention we are using a CTK Precision Rest. Folks always ask me that. And next up, we'll throw the Hornady through there and see how it does. Let's go check them out. The rifle seemed to do pretty well with both of these loads. Up first with the 69 grain Freedom. Center to center, right at 1 inch on the dot. These are 1 inch grids there for those of you wondering. And then with the Hornady over here, right at 1 3/4 inches. So for a budget gun, not free floated, I really can't complain about those groups. The accuracy was pretty good, but one thing that's concerning about this rifle is the gas block. The gas block is an aluminum gas block. It is dimpled in there, and it does have some sort of thread locker on there. I can't really tell. I don't know if it's red or red Loctite or anything like that, but it does have thread locker visibly on there that you can see. Now, the gas block is actually a little bit of a lower plane than the upper receiver, so if you were going to run irons on there, you would have to buy a special one for it that is a little bit higher than normal. They do sell those, people do make them, they are out there, but that's just one thing to consider. But with a 4140 steel barrel like we have here and this aluminum gas block, the concern is when the weapon gets hot that it could fracture or fail in any sort of way. So what we're going to do here is try to run a D60 through it and see if it holds up. This gun here is not one that I would recommend for like high volume bump firing or something like that, but we're going to see if it can hold up to 60 rounds pretty fast here, and well, I guess we'll all figure it out here along the way. So, along with that, we're also going to take a look at the handguards here. You can see them definitely smoking for sure. And one of the handguards on here are kind of an odd design. They actually don't have any sort of heat shields, which is not odd for budget type rifles like this. But the polymer actually goes in towards the barrel, which doesn't seem to make any sense at all to me. I'm not sure why they would do that. But we're going to check those after we let the rifle cool down. The gas block appears to be okay, so that's good. No damage there, but we'll let it cool down and we'll let you know next if anything happened to it. The rifle's cooled down after that mag dump. We drove home and stepped out here so we could get a little bit better audio for the sort of discussion portion of this review, as you guys probably noticed there in the intro. But these are the handguards that we referenced. You can see they have those little sort of indentations in them. Like I said, I have no idea why that would be. That doesn't make any sense. To have even more volume in there and just eliminate those completely like the M&P Shield does would make more sense. But for whatever reason, they're there. It adds a little bit of bulk to it, and of course we would prefer to have some sort of actual heat shield, but we don't have that. So it is a carbine length gas system, and you can take a look there at the barrel profile itself. Like I said, 4140 steel. It is a 1-in-9 twist overall. Does not have any sort of melanite, nitride, chrome lining, anything like that. It's completely unlined barrel and in 4140 steel. So that is one of the weak points of the barrel in terms of, or rather of the rifle. In terms of the barrel material, of course, it shot very accurately, as you guys saw. But one thing I did notice with it versus some of like the higher end barrels that you'll see out there is once we started to get it to heat up, it would start to string vertically a little bit. So I was out there shooting at, I believe it was 270 yards or something, whatever I had the target set at, and I could shoot probably 6-7 rounds easily into it at a moderate succession, and then eventually it would start to walk up. You know, the 7th or 8th, 9th or 10th or whatever would miss, and it would miss high each time. So compared to something that has perhaps chrome lining or nitriding or just better stress relieving overall, kind of lacks a little bit there. It goes into what I was saying about just the aluminum gas block before, is that if you get this rifle, don't expect to do a lot of mag dumps through it and expect it to work well for you. That said, we had 0 malfunctions with it today at all at the range. Put about 400 rounds through it total, and again, 0 malfunctions, so you can't do better than that. So we'll move back to the receiver group. Upper and lower receiver are forged 7075 T6 aluminum, mil spec in terms of dimensions and all that stuff. One thing I talk about in a lot of different rifle reviews is that the magwell here doesn't have a flare to it, so it really is mil spec in that way. I do prefer to have it flared out a little bit, but again, we're talking a price point rifle. One thing that is odd about it though is that they are freakishly tight. So if you guys like a tight upper and lower receiver, this one's tight. It's so tight you really can't do it with your hands. So you kind of just got to mash it out your pins and they will come out. You could do it with some ammo though if you'd like to do that, but we'll separate the lower here and kind of get into these parts. On the upper receiver we have what appears to be a forged 7075 T6 charging handle, although I could not find any specs on that, but it looks like it is. No issues there at all. On the bolt carrier group, some things I've read online in terms of these rifles, I'm not sure if they updated the line or whatever, but it seems to have improved from what they used to be anyway. So there's a full auto profile carrier. I actually called and emailed DPMS to get more specs on this rifle, so we'll get into that I guess now. I called them I believe on Tuesday, and they said, I called the customer service and started asking for specs, basically bolt material, whether or not it was MP, HP tested, the same with the barrel, and they would not give me an answer over the phone. The gentleman I spoke with was very professional and said, we're going to have to refer you over to our public relations department because I identified myself as running a YouTube channel. So for whatever reason, they wouldn't give me the answer on that. But it is a full auto profile. It is chrome lined, both the key and the carrier itself. The extractor on the bolt has the O-ring on there. Again, I don't know the material on there. I don't want to assume either way, but again, we had 0 issues with it so far. One thing that is nice, I know some of the earlier DPMS Oracles had those YFS fastening screws there on the key. This one does not. So it has not YFS, but what appear to be mil-spec. I have no way to know that, but they appear to be mil-spec screws, and they are staked properly. So in terms of that, we're doing well. Can't really complain too much about that. The upper receiver has M4 feed ramps cut into it. Again, sort of a nice touch there, and no issues with it. Everything looks clean inside, good milling. It has a forward assist as well as a shell deflector. I know some other budget rifles don't have that. So moving forward, we have a carbine weight buffer in there, so no H buffer with a carbine system. That certainly would be nice, but again, budget rifle. The trigger itself feels mil-spec. It breaks right at 6 pounds. Doesn't appear to be any sort of odd material like the M&P Sport is. Looks to be like every other mil-spec trigger out there. Nothing too fancy there. Like I said, it breaks crisp, and you guys saw we shot pretty good groups with it overall. The receiver extension here is a commercial spec, so if you have mil-spec stocks, it will not fit it. We do have a staked castle nut, which is nice. I know a lot of the budget ones don't have that, and again, some of the earlier Oracle rifles, I read that it wasn't staked. This one is staked, as you guys can see, and the stock is rather the extension is a 6-position stock, 6-position extension. The stock, rather, excuse me, if I can get it right, is completely backwards in terms of design. So I kind of think I know what they were thinking with this. I think they were thinking to round it out so that way it'd be comfortable shooting from the prone. But I'm here to tell you, it's it feels terrible. So it kind of like jams into you a little bit in your shoulder pocket on the prone, and then also when you're firing from the standing position or seated or whatever, or braced, again, it kind of just jams right into there. It really should be the opposite, in my opinion. Like if you take a look at some of the Magpul newer stocks out there, or like the BCM, it kind of angles like that, so that way you can roll it up into your shoulder pocket. Ergonomically speaking, that is a much better system in my opinion. So gonna have to knock them a little bit there on the stock, but we do have sling attachment points there, which is certainly good. No sling attachment points on the upper receiver at all. We hit most of the features of the rifle. This is kind of a different format than usual. It's because I want to get this video up relatively quickly due to the sale that's going on right now, like I said, over at Brownells. So what do we think of it overall? So it couldn't have been more reliable. That's a good thing. Again, we talked about the barrel perhaps, and even the gas block being somewhat of an issue down the road. But again, it's a price point rifle. And after the rebate, it's $355 shipped to your FFL. So that is the attraction point, in my opinion. It shot great in terms of accuracy, as you guys saw, and no malfunctions. Some things I don't like, again, gas block, the handguards, for whatever reason, they have that weird interior portion there. The stock, the extension is commercial spec, which also I don't like. But there's some things going for it. The bolt carrier looks good. We don't know the specs on it, but staking's good, it's chrome lined, all that stuff. The extension is staked, again, something you don't see on a lot of different guns. The trigger appears to be mil-spec, again, something that some budget guns out there don't have, so it has that going for it. Also, if you wanted to run irons on it, like we talked about, you'd have to have a different height there on your gas block with the front sight. So pros and cons to it for sure. Would I recommend it, right? I know that's what people want to know. So here's my answer to that. And I kind of relate a story like this on Facebook when somebody was asking me about it. Years ago, I was not as blessed as I am now in terms of finances. And, you know, I was in college and working my way through it, working, 40 plus hours a week, plus going to school full time. And we had, or rather I had, not a lot of money. So what did I do? I bought a used Remington 870 for like $205, I think, at a local gun shop. And that was my home defense gun for years and years and years, until I could afford something better. So I kind of look at this along those lines. Like if I was me back then, would this be something that appealed to me and that I would want? Maybe. If you only have like a max of $400 for a rifle, to use for whatever the reason is, whether it's out plinking at the range or if it is a defensive rifle and that's all you got, this is probably your best option in the market right now. So take that for what it's worth. Now, if you have $600, there's stuff I would look at otherwise. I would definitely take a look at the M&P Sport 2, the AR Precision AC-15 that we've reviewed here in the past. Take a look at those. Maybe the Ruger, which we will be reviewing here in the future. But like I said, no malfunctions so far. It's ran and shot accurately. So it's done the best it could do at this point. Now, even at that price point of $355, if down the road you had a little bit more money, you could replace the barrel, and get yourself a regular F-Mark front sight over at, like, say, like Ballistic Advantage when they run one of their sales and have a $150 new barrel and front sight gas block in there, and then you'd have what would appear to be, at least specs wise, a much better rifle overall. So you could probably be right around $500 even with that upgrade. So there's sort of just some things to think about. But you know, if you're looking at this versus like a Colt 6920 or a BCM or Dandel Defense, absolutely not. No, get those. But if this is all that you have your budget for, whether it be just a toy to have in the safe, first checking out the AR game, maybe you've never shot one before and just want to get into it and see what it's all about, I mean, why not, you know, right? For $355 ship, that's just craziness. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think that we hit all the points that we wanted to hit. And if you guys have any questions, post down below in the comment section. You can also post over at my Facebook page. If you guys aren't watching this on Facebook, you can post down there. It's the best way to get in touch with me for sure in terms of questions. But I will continue to shoot this. If we have problems, we'll do an update video and let you guys know along the way. But thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for following me on Facebook. And we'll see you guys in the next video.